What's going on, everybody? You are watching Vikings Now by Chat Sports. My name is Patrick Siepman, and welcome in. So coming up on today's show, I'm going to be diving into the one blockbuster move that your Minnesota Vikings need to make before the 2025 NFL Draft. It's a blockbuster. It's a crazy move, but I truly believe this would be the right decision for GM Kwesi Adofo-Mensah. But before we dive into it, I want to get you guys an updated look at a little sub battle we have going on right now versus our Lions Talk channel here at Chat Sports. They're a wagon. They got over 85,000 subscribers, almost 30,000 subscribers more than we do. So if you guys want to help us close that gap, go down there, hit that subscribe button. We're going to be posting a video around your Minnesota Vikings every single day this offseason. So subscribe to the channel today and help us close that gap with Lions Talk. All right, my big move. The blockbuster move I want to see the Minnesota Vikings make before the 2025 NFL Draft is them trading star tight end TJ Hockenson and trade up for Michigan tight end Colston Loveland. It's a blockbuster, but I really believe this would be the right decision. So what would that trade look like to go land the Michigan tight end? So I think he's going to be a top 15 pick. I think he is a generational prospect, and we'll dive into that a little bit here more in a second. But I think this would be the trade if the Vikings do have this plan in mind, that this would be the deal where they would be acquiring the 14th overall pick in 2025, and they would be sending the Indianapolis Colts, who have a need at tight end. You give them TJ Hockenson. They have a lot of cap flexibility, so they would be willing to take on that contract. But then you're also going to have to attach your own first-round pick number 24. And then I'm going to throw in the 2026 second-round pick. I understand. I'm not a big fan right now of the Vikings giving up draft capital, but with where they are and in line to receive potentially 3 comp picks next season, I would be willing to move off a second-round pick for next season, mainly because I think Colston Loveland is that special. And you may be saying, why would they do this? There is no way the Vikings would trade TJ Hockenson, move up in the NFL draft to go get a guy like Colston Loveland. So why would they do this? Number one, and this is the biggest reason. This is the only reason I should be making here, but we'll dive into 4 other ones. But Colston Loveland is an elite prospect. There's no doubt in my mind that this guy will step into the NFL next season and be a top 10 tight end in the league. And, maybe saying, oh, the production is not, that insane. Like, especially this past season with, really shaky quarterback play at Michigan. Only put up 582 yards, was dealing with some injuries as well. But specifically that 2021 season, he was unreal, man. 117 receptions, just over 1,400 yards, 12.5 yards per catch, 11 touchdowns, and he had 9 drops. He is a true pass-catching threat at that tight end position. And Dane Brugler actually dropped a scouting report for Colston Loveland in his latest draft guide. And the top note, he says he's explosive in releases to quickly enter routes and give quarterback a target, which is very true. He bends off those routes at an elite level. He's got a huge frame at 6'5" and just gives his quarterbacks an easy target, but he can also win on slants or posts one-on-one against cornerbacks. It doesn't matter if it's a linebacker, a safety, or even a corner trying to guard this man in coverage. He will win a majority of routes, and he's got super sticky hands. His catching radius and leaping ability were tested often by erratic quarterback play, and especially this past season at Michigan. I mean, they had that Warren guy in at quarterback. He was just not up to par, especially compared to like J.J. McCarthy the year before, but he made a lot of bad throws in the catches, and I think that just kind of speaks how special he is. But also, he plays with toughness over the middle of the field. He'll get popped, and he'll bounce right back up. And he can also leapfrog defenders using his stiff arm to battle for extra yards. He's a typical, definition of a guy who falls forward for those extra 3 to 4 yards on any given play. But Brugler also wrote this up. With his speed and ball skills, Loveland can line up anywhere on the field and win as a quarterback-friendly, multi-level receiving threat. He isn't a liability, as a one-pop get-in-the-way blocker, but will struggle to sustain or control NFL edge defenders. Overall, Loveland doesn't have the skill set for a full-time inline responsibilities, but his dynamic movements, natural hands, and football awareness should make him one of the primary targets in an NFL offense. His tools and upside are reminiscent of Zach Ertz. Now, I'm not trying to be hyperbolic when I say this. I'm not trying to get a headline. I'm not trying to go get clicks, but I truly believe this. Colston Loveland reminds me of the second greatest tight end of all time, Travis Kelce. 6'5" frames. Both are elite pass catchers. They were both nasty when it comes to running routes and also yards after catch. Like, I see a lot of Loveland in his motions and just his stickiness. very similar to a guy like Travis Kelce. And we see how impactful a guy like Kelce can be on a young quarterback. I mean, Mahomes stepping in there, having number 87 as his safety net, safety blanket, it has taken his game, to an elite level. So I think if you want to go help out J.J. McCarthy, you go land a guy like Colston Loveland, and maybe you could find the next Travis Kelce in this year's 2025 NFL Draft. And, another big reason why I'm a massive fan of this move and trading up for a tight end is because tight ends have been hitting at an all-time rate recently. Like, just take the last couple of NFL drafts, and you've had these four guys come out and be high-impact players from day one. Like, Brock Bowers last year was a stud. Guy's a freak of nature. He's probably going to be the best tight end in the league for the next 5 years. Tucker Kraft, he's fantastic for the Green Bay Packers. Sam Laporta, one of the most underrated players in the league, top 5 tight end for the next 10 years. And then also Dalton Kincaid, an elite receiving threat as well. So my biggest argument to trading for Colston Loveland would be, one, he's a stud. He's going to walk into the league and be a top 10 tight end. And also, these tight ends nowadays are just hitting at an all-time rate. So I wouldn't be as nervous as trading up for a guy that could potentially be a bust. I see no bust in Loveland's game. But also, number 2 here, TJ Hockenson's contract. I mean, his cap hits for the next 3 seasons, they're not team-friendly whatsoever. I mean, 16.64 this year, that's all right. We'll take it for the production he gives you. But the next 2 seasons specifically, $21 million in 26, $23 million in 27. Plus, you got to think the Darisaw contract will start kicking in. The Jefferson contract will start kicking in. Like, I just don't know if I'm willing to pay a good tight end, which TJ Hockenson is, this type of money. But it also gets me to this point. He's a good tight end. Like, there's no disputing that. TJ Hockenson is that borderline top 7, 8, 10-ish tight end in the league. But I have some serious doubts that he can be great. And he can be, a true game changer at the tight end position. I just think he's solid. He's very good. Most teams would love to have a TJ Hockenson on their ball club. But is he going to reach that greatness that I think maybe the Vikings need at that tight end position? I have my doubts there, and I don't mean to make this video the slander TJ. He's been awesome for the Vikings, but we also remember in 2023, he had drop issues. This past season, he didn't find the end zone until garbage time against the Rams game. Like, there are concerns in his game, especially if you add on the price that comes with TJ Hockenson. I just don't know if it's if he's a positive asset, if you combine his contract and his on-the-field performance. But I'll ask you guys this. It would be a blockbuster move. There's no doubt about it. But would you accept this trade? Vikings get pick 14 to draft Colston Loveland, but they are going to have to give up TJ Hockenson, their first-round pick, and a second-round pick. It's a lot, but I also think this deal is a for sure yes from the Indianapolis Colts. Just come down to it. The Vikings would do it. You guys let me know. A for accept or D for decline. Now, we'll get into more reasons why this trade makes a whole lot of sense for the Minnesota Vikings here in a second. But first off, I want to tell you guys about today's presenting sponsor, and that is Game Time. Now, if you guys download the Game Time app today and plug in that promo code ChatSports, you guys will get $20 off your first purchase. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code ChatSports for $20 off your first purchase. Game Time makes getting tickets even faster and easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to the first pitch if you're trying to go to a Twins game, for example, and with killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets this summer. Twins games, they're a ton of fun. If you guys are trying to take the family out or just trying to rock a solo trip to the Twins Stadium, Game Time is the best way to do so. And they also have a feature called Game Time Picks that make last-minute ticket buying even easier by quickly highlighting the best deals in the stadium. And I also love their seat views feature, which gets you a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you even buy, so you know exactly what you are looking at before you buy a ticket to whatever event it may be. And also, they have their lowest price guaranteed, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code ChatSports for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Number 3 here, pretty obvious one. He's got the J.J. McCarthy connection. These two were unreal during their time playing football with the Michigan Wolverines. And, I really believe this. When you have a special connection between a quarterback and whether it's a wide receiver, tight end, it can take that quarterback's play to a whole nother level. Like we saw what Stephon Diggs did with Josh Allen. We saw, obviously, what we were mentioning, Travis Kelce with Patrick Mahomes, Gronk with Brady. These top-end quarterbacks, if they have a guy where they can rely on over and over again, and obviously JJ will have that in Justin Jefferson, but if you get him another dynamic threat at that tight end position on these big play downs, it would be nice to have just another elite pass-catching weapon for McCarthy. And also, we saw Colston Loveland's impact. JJ, his final year at Michigan, this is also a crazy stat for McCarthy. He was 36 of 49 on passes, which is 73.4% for 544 yards with 27 first downs and 6 touchdowns on 3rd and 7+ during his final year at Michigan. Big reason for that was because he had Colston Loveland. Now, JJ's always been great in money downs, even dating back to high school, and I think we'll really see that come to fruition his first year starting here in the NFL. But I think if you have a guy like Loveland, be that safety net, safety blanket on these big play money downs, who also JJ McCarthy, it will already be comfortable with, I think it makes a whole lot of sense. And then also, it would help the Vikings give themselves some flexibility in terms of a Jordan Addison extension. And, what I mean by that is, the Vikings have a decision to make next offseason. Will they pay Addison or will they look to trade him? I am in the camp that I would love to keep Jordan Addison. I think this guy's going to just keep on getting better every single year. But trading TJ Hockenson would give them more flexibility to extend Addison. Because we just saw the wide receiver market boom yet again with T. Higgins getting a ridiculous amount of per year salary on his newest deal. I'm sure Addison's looking like that and saying, yeah, that's where my asking price is starting. I would much rather pay a guy like Jordan Addison than somebody like TJ Hockenson, who has dealt with a torn ACL and all the off-the-field nonsense with Addison. But I think that's just really just him being a young kid. I think he's going to grow past it. I don't really have any more issues moving forward with Addison off the field. But, he's been awesome for the Vikings, man. 19 touchdowns in his career, just over 1,700 yards in 2 seasons, and, really playing with shaky quarterback play. Like Nick Mullins, Josh Dobbs, Jaron Hall in his rookie year. And then last year, Sam Darnold was awesome. But I think the reason why Sam Darnold was awesome was because he was throwing the football to number 3. So I think another reason for this, you trade TJ Hockenson, then you extend Jordan Addison next offseason. I would just rather toss more money to number 3 rather than number 87. And final reason here, I think this would be the cherry on top move. And what do I mean by that? The Vikings had a fantastic offseason. Will Fries, Ryan Kelly, shore up the interior of that offensive line. But what's the move that I think would potentially get them just closer to where they want to go? I think it would be getting an upgrade at the tight end position. And I truly believe this. Day 1, first game, first training camp practice, Colston Loveland is a better tight end than TJ Hockenson. This guy is that special. And like I was saying at the top of the show, the biggest reason why I want to do this is no slight at TJ. It is more praise for Colston Loveland. I think he is that special. I think we could potentially see is, I'm also a huge Tyler Warren guy in this draft class. I could see those two being 2 of the top 5 tight ends in the National Football League. Like, if you told me in 2 years the top 5 tight ends are Laporta, Brock Bowers, Tyler Warren, Colston Loveland, and whoever you want at 5, I'd probably put money on that being the case. So I understand trading TJ Hockenson, it would hurt, fan favorite, love what he's done for the Minnesota Vikings, but I think this Colston Loveland guy is that special. So what say you on this one? After I just gave you guys my argument, how are you feeling about trading TJ Hockenson? Would you do it? Give me a Y for yes. Give me an N for no. What say you? You guys let me know your thoughts down below. Close today's show out with a little fun fact of the day. So the Vikings play the Ravens this upcoming year in US Bank Stadium, and in all 7 times the Vikings have played the Ravens, the 3 years they won, they went to the NFC title game. The 4 years they lost, they fired their head coach that offseason. I'm pretty much reading this as the Vikes are locked to make the NFC Championship. But, hey, we'll see you guys next time. As always, let's go Vikes.